Good evening, Rishus, and with the permission of friends old and new, tonight we come to the end of the third parak. And it goes as follows. Rabbi ben Chisma says, Kinin upishei nida, Kinin, the laws of the karbonos of Kinin and the laws of Nida, hein gufei halachas. They are the ikar. They are the body and the corpus of halachas. Tkufos וגמטריאות, tkufos, astronomy, וגמטריאות, and numerology, פרפראות לחכמה. They're the condiments, they're the sweets of wisdom. One of the more difficult and complex to understand Mishnahs, in which it discusses the most complex of all Masechtas in Shas. Kinin. It's a Masechta at the end of Kodshim. I happen to have, Baruch Hashem, made a siyum on it last year. It's a Masechta dealing with bird sacrifices, and specifically doves or pairs of doves brought as a korban after a woman gives birth, or on behalf of people that are classified as Zov. It's part of what's called the ritual of purification. And in this process, two birds are brought, one for a korban oila and one for a korban chatas. The kasha becomes what happens if there is a mistake in which bird is brought, where it's brought, when it's brought, what are the intentions of the individual, if it's past the red line, a kav ha'adom, this chut ha'adom that is placed on the mizbeach, if it's above it, below it. Multiple factors are involved. And when they are brought, all of these things, extraordinarily complex procedures and protocols. And it's a Masechta that's fraught with a lot of difficulty. But in this Masechta, one thing is key to know and keep in your mind. Addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Knowledge of math is vital for an understanding of these Masechta, which is the conclusion of all of Seder Kodshim, like I just mentioned. But next, our Tana comes to teach us that just like Mesachas Kinin is Gufei halachos, is the essence, the body, the corpus of halachas, so too is Mesachas Nida. To understand the laws of Nida, one must understand female biology and know math as well. And you must as well have the knowledge and understanding of a woman's life cycle, how many days to count of impurity, and purity as well. You must know individual blood colors as well. But in both Masechtas, math is an essential ingredient. No wonder Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma is the author of our Mishnah, Rabbi Say, because it is he who had great mathematical prowess, is renowned in the Gemara and Chazal, and so great was his ability to figure out mathematical constructs and problems, that it is said of Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma that if he was gazing out at the sea or the ocean, he'd be able to divine and interpret and mathematically understand how many drops of water in the ocean was there. But comes along our Tana Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma, and he says the following: Tkufos וגמטריאות פרפראות לחכמה. Astronomy and numerology, they are the condiments, they're the sweets of wisdom. Tkufos, astronomy, gmatryos, numerology. So if you take all of the subjects of which Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma is discussing, and you put them all together, there is one common element in all four. In Kinin, Nida, Tkufos, Gmatryos, math. And the need for the knowledge of rudimentary math and higher math. So I'd like to suggest the following. al derech drush, as an explanation of this entire Mishnah, which concludes the third parak of Pirkei Avot. The Gemara in Bava Pei Daled says the following: Ki yaviu Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon, when they came and they brought a question before Rabbi Elazar, Shishim Maros Shaldam, 60 different versions of the color of blood. And what happened? Rabbi Elazar was able, v'hutier es kulam, and he was able to purify all of them. He was able to discern the distinctions between each of the 60, the Shishim Maros Hadam. And yet in another Gemara, in Nida itself, Daf Chof, we are taught something very, very similar. Imoy shalamelach sholchol Rava pa'amayim. The mother of the king sent to Rava twice. Shishim sugei dam, 60 different aspects of blood. V'hu yoda lahavchin b'chol dam ma'u mekoyer. And he was able to discern each and every type of blood, what is its source. So my kasha is, what, pray tell, is the number 60, and what relevance does it have? To answer, I'm going to try to employ Kinin, Nida, tkufos, and Gematrios. And why is it that Kinin and Nida are Gufei halachas, the essence, the importance of halachas? So if one learns Mishnah Kinin, you'll find that the last Mishnah in Kinin says the following. It's a little bit of a non sequitur. Prior to this, we're discussing the laws of Kinin, and then all of a sudden it interrupts the narrative of the Mishnah, or it interrupts the teaching of the Mishnah concerning halachas, and now all of a sudden the Mishnah ends as follows. Rabbi Shimon ben Akashi oimer, not to be confused with Chananya ben Akashi oimer, but Rabbi Shimon ben Akashi oimer. Rabbi Shimon ben Akashi says, Ziknei Amoretz, the wise men, no, not the wise men, the elders of those ignoramuses, Kol Zman Shemazkinin, throughout their life, when they reach old age, Daiton Miturefes Aleim, their knowledge becomes confused. Avol Ziknei Torah, but the elders of Torah, they're not like that. Ela Kozman Shemazkinin, all the time that they become older, Daiton Misyasheves Aleim, their knowledge settles upon them. Shenenmar, as it says, B'shishim Chochma ve'orech Yomim Tivuna. In the aged is wisdom, and in the length of days is understanding. So let's look again at this. In the Mishnah, in the Gemara, in Nida and Bava that I just quoted, 60 different types of Damei Nida. Here we see that the age of old age that creeps up on man is first considered when he reaches the age of 60. As it says later on in Pirkei Avot and Purkei, Ben Shishim Lezikna. So generally with age comes wisdom. And especially if you have spent time learning Torah, you will have acquired the wisdom of Torah. So let's recall the words of our Mishnah. Kinin v'nida, the Nesechet of Kinin, of the sacrifices that come as a result of giving birth. V'nida, and the laws of the women's blood cycle. In Gufei halachos, they are what? They are the ikar of halachas. That's all very interesting. But how do I get from Kinin to Nida? So the last Mishnah in Kinin states the following. Like we just learned, Shemazkinin, when they get old. That's a definition, old age. But I'd like to say that it's really a play on words Shemazkinin, as it mentions at the end of Masechta Kinim in the last Mishnah. Shemazkinin, when you get old, there's a play on words. Shemazkinin, that when you acquire the halachas and the Torah of Kinin, the same lashon of the name of the Masechta itself, as in learning Kinin. Because if you learn Kinin, and your age is 60 shishim, because it says b'shishim chachma v'erech yomim tivuna, that in 60, in the aged is wisdom. And if you learn, then at that age of 60, if you spend your life learning Torah, and you have not spent your life in idleness and in endeavors that have no value, but rather you spent your life learning Torah all of your life, your trade is the wisdom of Torah, your life, and not the trade of other things, then when you reach the age of Shishim, then you have understood the halachas. But what about Nida? What about Masechta Nida? Thus we again come to the end of another Masechta. At the end of the Gemara Nida, there we find at its conclusion another little bit of a non sequitur. And there at the end of Masechta Nida, departing once again from the main subject matter of the entire corpus of the Gemara concludes Masechta Nida as follows. Tana devei Eliyah. Kol hashana halachas b'chol yom. Anybody who learns halachas every single day, muftach lo shehu ben olam haba. He's guaranteed that he is a son. He is a prince. He's destined for olam haba. Shenemar halichos olam lo. Al tikrei halichos. Don't read the pasuk halichos, the pathways. Ella halachos. From this we see Shishim Damei Nida. Mazkinin is Kinin. And Nida is halachas. Kinin v'Nida in Gufei halachas. But what is Gematria? Everybody translate it, that's numerology. It's the association of numbers to letters. However, some say Gematria really is something a little bit different. It really is geometry. In order to understand the tkufos, you must know geometry. Thus again, apropos of our Tana Rabbi Elazar, math is once again a central theme. In order to understand astronomy and to understand the movements and the placements and the distances of stars and celestial bodies and planets, it's impossible without math. If you want to know how to discern the calendar, the new moon, the Rosh Chodesh, you must know math. Every subject that Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma discusses, the central theme is math. But let's take Gufei halachas on one side and Purpose Lechachma on the other side. Gufei halachas, we just finished, which is Kinin and Nida, and Purpose Lechachma is Tkufos and Gamatrios. The body of the individual, in its functions, are sometimes not so beautiful, they're ugly. They're disgusting. They smell. They're not pleasant. But knowledge of the function of the body of the goof is absolutely vital and necessary to an understanding of life itself. This is the gufei halachas of Kinin v'Nida. You've got to understand sometimes the things that don't appear to be so beautiful in the world. But by the same token, what are the parpa'os, the condiments? Not that they're lesser, which many Mefarshim translated, but rather they're condiments, they're the sweet sugar of Torah. And what is the sweet sugar of Torah? No, it doesn't say Torah. The Tana says, Hein purpose lechokma. And chokma comes from the mind and wisdom. So if you want to gain wisdom, you must feed the body first. And then after you've fed the body of its gufei halachos, of kinin v'nida, then, and only then, will you be able to acquire the wisdom of gematrius and tkufos, the sweetness of it. So I'd like to suggest that just as this parak began in the third parak, me'ayin bosa, from where do you come? Meitipa srucha, from a putrid drop. This book ends by learning about the birth process, procedures and protocols that are contained in the halachas of kinin and in hilchos nida. How one goes from tuma to tar. How you were born from a putrid drop, and while it's tamei, nevertheless, through kinin and nida, and understanding and knowledge of those halachas, you may come to tahara. And again, just as the parak began, with who know before who you're going to give an accounting and a reckoning. Din, a judgment, and a cheshbon, and an accounting. The ultimate accounting. So we learn, Rabbi Isai, what it means, tkufos וגמטריאות, astronomy and numerology and math. Of Hananya ben Akasha oimer rotza kodesh baruch hu lezakas Yisrael lefi chibel lem Torah mitzvah shenemar Hashem chofetz leman simko yagdel Torah v'yadir.